Welcome back to Netrush Report, where rivalries, comebacks, and emotional stories turn tennis into something much bigger than just a game. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because today, we're diving deep into how Giovanni Mpetshi Perricard stunned Taylor Fritz, what went wrong for the American, and why this could be the beginning of a new era for French tennis. Let's set the stage. The 2025 Shanghai Masters had already been delivering drama. Novak Djokovic teasing retirement one day, Jannik Sinner battling through late-night matches the next. But no one expected this. Taylor Fritz came into the match as the favorite, world number 9, experienced, powerful off both wings, and one of the few players who's managed to consistently challenge the very best. Across the net, Giovanni Mpetshi Perricard, 6 feet 8 inches, 21 years old, a raw talent still finding his footing on the ATP Tour. Known mainly for his serve and little else. No one, absolutely no one, thought this was going to end in straight sets. But it did. 6-4, 7-5. And every point told a story of pain, fatigue, and unbelievable shot-making. From the very first game, it was clear this was going to be a physical war. Both players were hammering serves, firing aces, and barely engaging in rallies. But here's the twist. It wasn't just about power. Giovanni's precision was surgical. His first serve percentage was through the roof. Every second serve? Heavy, biting, and deep. Taylor Fritz, usually so composed under pressure, looked winded early on. And that's when the cracks started to appear. He didn't generate a single break point. Not one. Meanwhile, Mpetshi Perricard was constantly threatening. He broke twice, and every time he did, it felt like he ripped the oxygen right out of Fritz's lungs. By the time the match reached the final games, both players were so physically spent that the umpire had to prolong rest periods, something rarely seen at this level. Imagine that. 2 elite athletes, world-class conditioning, both gasping for air on the Shanghai hard courts. Let's be real, Taylor Fritz has been one of the hardest working players on the ATP Tour. His 2025 season has been jam-packed. Deep runs, late finishes, cross-continent travel, and barely any recovery time. And it finally caught up with him. He's been in top form. Remember, he pushed Djokovic to 5 sets at the US Open, and even picked up wins against Alcaraz earlier this season. But fatigue is no joke. Against Mpetshi Perricard, Fritz was a half-second slower on returns, his footwork slightly labored, and his shot timing just off. Every small detail matters at this level. And when your opponent is serving bombs over 230 kilometers per hour, even a fraction of a second can mean the difference between a return winner and a clean ace. His body language said it all, shoulders drooping, long looks toward his box, desperate glances at the towel. There's a moment, around the 4-3 mark in the first set, where the camera caught Fritz mouthing something like, "I can't feel my legs." You can't help but feel sympathy. Because for Fritz, this wasn't just a loss. It was a reminder of the brutal grind of the ATP Tour. Now let's talk about the man of the moment, Giovanni Mpetshi Perricard. For casual fans, this name might still sound unfamiliar. But for those who've been following the next-gen wave of French tennis, he's the one to watch. At just 21 years old, he's already drawing comparisons to John Isner and Milos Raonic for his serve. But what makes Giovanni different is his composure. He doesn't just rely on brute force. He uses his height smartly, positions himself well, and stays calm even when rallies get extended. In this match, he showed something even more impressive: mental endurance. Fritz has more experience, more composure in big moments, and usually thrives under pressure. But Giovanni didn't flinch. Not once. When he had 4 break points saved in the second set, he just smiled, stepped up again, and fired another bullet down the tee. He converted 2 of 6 break points, enough to seal the deal. And when he finally broke Fritz at 5-5 in the second set, the Frenchman's roar said it all. That was not just a win. That was a statement. His first ever win over a top 10 player. His first ever round of 16 at a Masters 1000. The kind of match that turns a promising career into a believable future. It's easy to forget just how far Giovanni has come in the past 12 months. In early 2024, he was barely cracking the top 150. Grinding it out in challengers, struggling for confidence. He'd lose heartbreaking tiebreakers, sometimes double fault-away match points. But through it all, he kept going. French legend Jo-Wilfried Tsonga once said that Perricard had a serve that could rewrite the rulebook, and now, we're starting to see exactly what he meant. In Shanghai, he didn't just beat Fritz. He overpowered him, outplayed him, outlasted him, and now, he's set to face Holger Rune, who earlier in the day beat Hugo Humbert 6-4, 6-4. That's a massive matchup, young fire versus young fire. But let's zoom out for a second, because this match also revealed something deeper. A problem players have been quietly complaining about all year, the insane scheduling. Players like Fritz, Zverev, Sinner, even Djokovic, have all hinted at burnout. There are too many tournaments, too little recovery time, and almost no breaks between hard-court swings. And Shanghai, with its humid conditions and long night sessions, pushes bodies to the limit. For Fritz, it was the perfect storm: exhaustion, heat, and a fired-up opponent with nothing to lose. Even commentators were shocked to see how visibly drained both men looked midway through the second set. It wasn't just tennis, it was survival. And yet, in those moments, you see the essence of the sport. Two men giving everything, pushing through pain, just for the right to move one step closer to glory. That's the magic and the cruelty of tennis. For France, this one means more than just one upset. For years, French tennis has been searching for its next leader. The post-Tsonga, Monfils, Gasquet era left a void. And now, between players like Arthur Fils, Luca Van Assche, and Giovanni Mpetshi Perricard, there's hope again. These aren't just flashy talents. They're learning to win ugly, to stay tough, to compete on the biggest stages. And this Shanghai moment? It's symbolic. A 21-year-old Frenchman defeating one of the ATP's top 10 players in straight sets at a Masters 1000? That's the spark French tennis has been waiting for. Even French media called it le match du courage, the match of courage. Sometimes numbers say more than emotions. White heavy checkmark first serve percentage, Mpetshi Perricard, 78%, Fritz, 67%. White heavy checkmark first serve points won, Mpetshi Perricard, 89%, Fritz, 77%. White heavy checkmark second serve points won, Mpetshi Perricard, 65%, Fritz, 54%. White heavy checkmark break points converted, Mpetshi Perricard, 2 of 6, Fritz, 0 out of 0. White heavy checkmark aces, Mpetshi Perricard, 17, Fritz, 9. White heavy checkmark average serve speed, Mpetshi Perricard, 210 km per hour, Fritz, 196 km per hour. These aren't just stats, they're domination. And that tells you exactly how dialed in Giovanni was. The tennis world reacted fast. Nick Kyrgios tweeted, "Serve bots are taking over again, faced with tears of joy that French kids got a rocket launcher." Ben Shelton posted a story with just one word: insane. Fans flooded social media praising Mpetshi Perricard's composure and humility post-match. He didn't boast. He didn't scream. He just smiled, shook Fritz's hand, and said quietly, "Merci, Taylor." That's respect. Even Fritz was gracious afterward, saying, "He served incredibly well. Honestly, I didn't have many chances. My legs felt gone. He deserved it." That's class from both sides. For Giovanni, this Shanghai breakthrough is more than a round of 16 run. It's the start of a new chapter. He now faces Holger Rune, another young gun, in what could be one of the matches of the tournament. If he wins that, he'll likely meet Jannik Sinner or Novak Djokovic next, a test that could fast-track his arrival into tennis stardom. For Taylor Fritz, meanwhile, this loss might sting, but it's also a wake-up call. He'll need rest, recovery, and recalibration before the indoor swing. Because while his game remains top-tier, the body can only go so far. And Shanghai proved, even the best can burn out. Sometimes in tennis, you lose not because you played badly, but because someone else stepped up to the moment. Giovanni Mpetshi Perricard did exactly that. He didn't just beat Taylor Fritz, he earned his place among the names to watch. And for fans, that's the beauty of this sport, the endless cycle of hunger, heartbreak, and history being written, one upset at a time. Studio microphone, if you love stories like this, raw, emotional, and unpredictable, make sure you're subscribed to Netrush Report. Because every match has a heartbeat, and every player, a story waiting to be told. Until next time, stay tuned, stay inspired, and never underestimate the power of a serve that can change everything.